Alright then, let's get into this.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News. A talking points video, I guess. I want to address the Nicolas Jackson hate, who of course isn't the most popular Chelsea player at the moment after missed chances in the semi-final against Manchester City at Wembley. I also want to talk about Romelu Lukaku. Yep. And Pochettino. Has some of us got him wrong? Is he actually, if we think about it and take a deep breath, is he still the best guy for the job at Chelsea? We're going to comb through all the talking points together. It's hopefully going to be a really interesting video, guys. So I want to thank you for joining me here today on Football Therapy in these turbulent times for Chelsea Football Club. You are all most welcome. Thank you for supporting the content. You can do so easily by liking, subscribing, hit the bell if you subscribe, and why not share it with every single person you know. Alright then, let's get into it. Look, let's start off with Nico Jackson. He missed some chances yesterday. I don't necessarily agree with the narrative that he missed a hat-trick of sitters, despite what Alan Shearer said. Apparently, those goals that he didn't score were of the value of 0.7 XG collectively. So not even one expected goal. It was rightly highlighted to me by one of my Instagram followers that, of course, when he rounded the keeper, he didn't take a shot, and that was like a moment where if he could do it again, maybe he'd hit it on his left foot. So that was a high value chance that he didn't take, and I understand why people are upset about that. But I do want to read you a couple of paragraphs from the Athletic match report speaking about Nicolas Jackson and his performance in that game as well. Here it is. In many respects, Jackson provided exactly what head coach Mauricio Pochettino was looking for at the tip of his 4-2-3-1 system. He led the press with intelligence and intensity, playing his part in forcing valuable turnovers in City's defensive third. His direct runs in behind repeatedly stressed Pep Guardiola's high line. Most of all, the bulk of his hold-up play and link-up play, spinning defenders, laying the ball off for midfield runners, was absolutely exceptional. Jackson has produced plenty in his debut season in English football to suggest he is well worth Chelsea persisting with him in the long term and mark him as one of the better value signings of the Todd Boehly and Clear Lake Capital recruitment drive. But on days like this, you often live or die by the ruthlessness of your strikers, and Jackson's wastefulness cost Chelsea dearly. So there's all the truth there in the statement, and many of you who are angry at him will hang on to that last sentence. First of all, I mean, everyone can support how they want, but personally, my position on this is the hate is just ridiculous. This is a guy that is developing at Chelsea. He's super young. Was he matched Drogba's first season in terms of productivity? Now, I'm loath to compare him to Drogba any further because, of course, Drogba at Wembley was a different beast. But this is a young player who's come into an incredibly difficult side. Look, Cole Palmer's been magnificent and unique for us, but everyone else has been up and down. The only real top bankers are Cole Palmer and Malo Gusto, you'd have to say. Even Malo Gusto has had a couple of wobbly moments in a red card. Nico Jackson cost, 35 million quid? Like half of what Mykhailo Mudryk cost, and he's been our available starting striker all season. He's always made sure that he's fit and firing to go, that he can run for 90 minutes. He's chipped into double-figure league goals. He's happy to get an assist. He's happy to play out wide. He's good at combinational play. Despite being a converted winger, he is strong and his hold-up play is good, and he's very, very fast. You'll always see him clocking over 30km/h speeds, which is rapid, by the way, especially for a guy that big. Again, he's very, very young, and if you want to know my position, it remains the same. I think he was an excellent signing that has all the makings to be a really, really good Premier League forward, and we should be very happy we've got him, but I don't necessarily think he should be the starting striker for Chelsea right now, especially in such a dysfunctional side. The guy's 22. Look at Harry Kane, at 30, and Lewandowski and Benzema, these players that go well into their 30s. Olivier Giroud. Imagine how good Nico could be in 12 months' time if he sorts his finishing out, in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time, in 4 years' time, in 5 years' time, where he still has years left on his contract. This player who doesn't have injury problems, that's always available, that has amazing assets to play well in the Premier League. We're actually quite lucky to have him, especially at that cost. He's definitely value for money. He's one of the better signings that we've made lately. And yes, he would have preferred not to do those misses or those poor decisions in the final third, and that's something he absolutely needs to get better at. But millions of people hating on him. I mean, I didn't agree with it with Mason Mount at Wembley. You know, my love for Mount has waned since he's left, but I just feel like it's so unhelpful. Especially for players that are clearly very good and very helpful to your side and that the manager really likes. It's like Conor Gallagher in the final against Liverpool. He missed a bunch of chances as well. These players don't want to miss chances. They're good players. The problem with Chelsea is top to bottom, we are inexperienced, and that will come in time and get better. And I think Jackson played really well apart from the finishing. And of course, being a striker is about finishing. But it's not just that as well. If you look at Guardiola teams recently that's won the league, or Liverpool with Firmino, they've got to be good at the link-up. They've got to be good at the interchanging, play in the final third. He can do that. I am annoyed he missed those chances. It personifies this season. It's another chance going begging when we've played really well, and the sort of inexperience and immaturity of the players let him down. And of course, it's really sad to see those scenes of Thiago Silva crying. That's his last final in Europe, probably. Which is, and it wasn't a good look with Noni Madueke joking around and laughing with Grealish in the background, where you see such a serious moment. But again, another kid and inexperience. I don't think he wants to hurt anyone's feelings. He's like a God-fearing kid as well. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people are just upset that we're not winning trophies. And I get it. I just wanted to say, I'll reiterate my position once more. I think Nico Jackson should be Chelsea's second choice striker, who can still be on the pitch at the same time as our first choice striker, sometimes on the left, sometimes in the two. And also, as he develops, of course he has chipped in with a bunch of goals. And, again, this kid got so much grief for scoring a hat-trick away at our biggest rivals at Tottenham. Yes, it was high line, 9 men. But come on, he's a kid in his first season in the Prem and he's enjoying a hat-trick away at Tottenham and all he got is grief from people. This is just silly and unhelpful. Support your players, man, especially when they've shown massive green shoots, like signs of development, and they will be useful assets for Chelsea moving forwards. Yeah, you can be and I'm the same, I'm being a massive defender of Jackson here, but I want another striker starting at the moment, but I'm not writing off Jackson to be our starting striker long term. So anyway, it is a massive talking point after that loss yesterday against Man City, so I wanted to address it. So before we talk about Pochettino, which also has a huge talking point, don't shout at me. This is a philosophical thought experiment exercise. Romelu Lukaku. Now, of course, Chelsea are being quoted crazy money at the moment, £120 million or euros for Osimhen, who, I'd be very happy for him to join, but Chelsea are also in financial restraints at the moment. And Chelsea, not just Nico Jackson, guys, Chelsea have loads of good young strikers on the books. We do, people like Datro Fofana, of course, we've got Jackson, Breuer, we've got Whisper, who looks really good, we've got Ronnie Stutter, we've got I forget his name, the kid who's the top scorer at Chelsea. Donnell McNeely, super striker, he looks awesome. So it just makes you think, is there a senior striker you could have for 12 months, 18 months, while Jackson sorts his finishing out, while we see actually how good is, Breuer or Whisper or this other kid or Nkunku playing down the middle. Nkunku, bro, I didn't even mention him. I should have said this yesterday in my match review. If Nkunku was playing at Wembley yesterday, a fit and firing Nkunku, those chances that Jackson got, he would have at least tucked away too. Because that is Christopher Nkunku's bread and butter. Those transitional goals rounding the keeper, excellent finishing. And with, we've got left wingers, we've got certainly Cole Palmer and Noni Madueke on the right, maybe Chukwuemeka, Gallagher, or even Mudryk in time. I know we're not happy with Mudryk at the moment. Becomes that number 10, and Nkunku plays the striker, Jackson plays on the left. Jackson plays really well on the left. Remember that? He's putting good performances there. So maybe we don't even need to sign the striker if Nkunku one day comes back eventually fit, shows Jackson how to finish a little bit better. We might already have what we need. But what I wanted to say about Romelu Lukaku is, he is a senior striker, 30 years old, who has got 33 goals this season for club and country. He actually plays really well in the way Pochettino plays, in the Pochettino transitional way, especially if he's allowed to run in that right channel slightly and if Cole Palmer inverts and comes inside. That would actually work really, really well for Romelu Lukaku. Just look how he played at Inter, scoring buckets and buckets of goals. Now, of course, before I talk about if this is feasible, let me just talk about the pros. Lukaku's 30 years old. He knows who he is as a player. He knows how to play. He's strong and he can score in big moments. He can. He's not quite Drogba level, but he can score goals, right? He can. He's a striker. He plays in the right way. He's actually got reduced wages since we've renegotiated his contract with him, which actually allowed him to go to Roma. So he's technically earning less than Raheem Sterling at the moment. So if we somehow sold Sterling in the summer, maybe Lukaku would be on less than 300k a week, and he could be that senior striker to Nico Jackson, to whoever the other striker is as well, just to bridge the gap. Now, I don't think Pochettino would have any issue with this. Why would he? Pochettino would actually see an elite striker option and be like, yeah, can I use Lukaku, please? And like, yes, Lukaku's hot and cold, but look at his career. He cost us 100 million. Look at the money that's been spent on Lukaku generally for Man United to go to Inter, to go to Chelsea. Again, it's hundreds of millions of pounds. He scores for fun still for Belgium. If you said to Pochettino, do you want 30-year-old Romelu Lukaku as an option? He'd go, yes, please. But he would. He hasn't got beef with him. He doesn't give a ruddy so-and-so about the interview. And the owners won't either. They'll look at that poorly, but they'll also, you know what our new owners are like. They'll be like, what, massively high-value asset that's, not doing much at the moment, and the coach can use him that we already own. Yes, please. So the owners will be happy to. The manager will be happy to. The stumbling block is the Chelsea fans and the player. That's the huge thing. Like, will the player want to come back? I'm not sure he will. Unless it's a case of, look, do you want to come back and try once more with a new manager? Just keep your head down. Don't do any interviews, and just try hard. Or do you want to go to Saudi? Because Roma aren't going to sign you. Then maybe Rom will go, all right. And who knows? Say if somehow we do finish sixth for the season and qualify for Europa, he gets to play in Europe as well. Maybe that will happen. Will the Chelsea fans forgive him? Well, I'm not sure they would, personally. I'd feel very, very confused about it. Like, this is very much a thought exercise, me saying this here. So I wouldn't know what to say on that. But as long as he didn't come back, score a goal and start kissing the badge straight away, because we know that's absolute bollocks with Lukaku. He does it to like every single club. But if he just comes back, scores a goal, and just, killer face on, just says, right, let's just do it. Let's keep going. Then yes, maybe. But these are a lot of if, buts, and maybes. Yeah. I mean, probably if you said to me, right, yeah, and you can sell him for straight to Saudi for his buyout clause, and you can sell Sterling to Saudi for the buyout clause, I'd probably go for that. But I wonder if Pochettino's looked at Lukaku, because he would have considered him before and said, actually, can I use him, please? How we'd feel about that. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. I know it's a very volatile subject, but it's worth talking about, because we own him, bro. He's a senior striker to bridge the gap. And we've got loads of young good strikers that aren't there yet and have issues, like Jackson. And we've got a senior striker who could bridge that gap. Or do you just throw the bag? And by the way, the bag that we have might not be there at the moment at Osimhen, and then you can't sign a really good left back or this or that. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a question. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Let's move on and talk about the gaffer. So yes, Pochettino lost another game at Wembley yesterday, but I think the consensus from all Chelsea fans, whether you're a Poch in or Poch out, was he did very well. He set up perfectly. The last two games, he set up perfectly. Everton, obviously Everton were poor, but we absolutely rinsed them. And of course, we set up perfectly against Manchester City. We had a higher XG in the first half. We had a higher XG in the second half. We had 5 shots on target to their 2 or 3 shots on target. Chelsea, and that's, with Jackson rounding the keeper and not taking a shot, which was a high-value chance. So, Pochettino set up perfectly. He set up perfectly against the treble winners with a team that's decimated by injury. Yes, we had more rest, and that was a boon for us, and it was helpful. But he's set up really well in these games against top opposition. Now, what do you want in a coach? What do you want of a coach of a team like Chelsea? A team with great resources and great talent. Well, with great resources and great talent, generally, you hope that will carry you over in the games that you're supposed to win. And then the harder games, the games against, better opposition, better managers, you need the coach to set you up properly to defeat good opposition and in big crunch games. Well, Pochettino has ultimately proven that, I think. To get to a cup final and a semi-cup final, we probably should have qualified to the other cup final. Both cup competitions you're in, going all the way to the end. That is impressive from a coach, even if certain routes were a little bit easier than others. And obviously having big performances in the league. Look, man, I'm not overly happy with Pochettino throughout the season, but I do have, even when I was most angry at him, I still have just always had this like deep and profound sympathy of what a mental job this is. Because there's two things you got to consider. It's, will we get any better with a different guy? And, you know, I hate to say it, but would we get any worse? Like, would there be regression just from more change? These players have had so much change. So much change. A lot of these players have had Tuchel, Potter, Lampard, you know, Pochettino, Bruno Salto as well for a game. You know, they need continuity. And they do seem to like Pochettino. Pochettino seems to be personable. He seems to put his arm around the players. He speaks, you know, Spanish, Catalan, French, English. Not that Catalan matters in this Chelsea squad, but he said it, so I think it's like, you know, worth mentioning. He's multilingual. He's a multicultural guy. He's very sensitive and emotional, and the players like him, apparently. Maybe not all the time, but yeah. Who comes in and makes this better? I don't want Roberto De Zerbi. I don't want a Zidane. I don't want any of these guys. I want someone who can set up like we did yesterday against the best team in the world, you know? And if the players like him, maybe he'd... Look, man, if we finish 9th, we'll talk again in the summer, but if we finish 6th, you've got to give him, I think you've got to give him next season. If you think about it, he went from 12th to 6th, if he gets there. If you think about it from last season, being knocked out of both cups in the first round, I know they were hard ties, to getting to the final and semi-final, and playing really well in both those respective games, basically getting to Wembley twice. Huge jumps. And also, I feel like one of the biggest parts of this season is finding out. It's been like a soul-searching season of what is this squad. And we found out a lot. You know, we found out who's good, who's bad, who's injury-prone. We found out who's been helpful in some ways but needs to work on stuff. Nico Jackson finishing, but his general play is very good. Malo Gusto's great. Are we going to eventually try and find a way to get Reece James on the pitch with Gusto? You know, we need to start again in pre-season with Nkunku. Do we build the attack around him again? Probably not. You build the attack around Cole Palmer this time, don't you? Because the whole pre-season last summer was building it around Nkunku. Of course, Palmer signed on deadline day, so you didn't get a chance to do that, and it took him a few weeks to really be like, actually, I'm the man. So you build around Cole Palmer. I mean, maybe there's a world where, you know, if all players were fit right now, you'd be Palmer, Nkunku up top, Jackson on the left instead of Mudryk and Sterling at the moment. Of course, Jackson's very fast in transition, and he is a left winger by trade originally. And you know, with the goals he's got as well, maybe that's the solution. You know, give Carney Chukwuemeka fit and give him a run here. I think he could be amazing, you know? Anyway, it was about learning what we have. And no one knows what we have better than Pochettino. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about it and put it out to you guys like everything else. I can't wait to read the comments from this video, guys. So thank you for joining me once again. Thank you for liking and subscribing. If you're yet to do so, please show your love. I appreciate that. And, yeah, I hope to see you back here soon. Peace.